actually told them to stop after George Floyd. Now, after the attempted execution of my nephew, we are telling them to stop again!
The family of Jacob Blake continues to call for change following last weekend's shooting. A Wisconsin officer shot Blake several times in the back while responding to a domestic violence call in the area. And the video of the shooting has since gone viral and sparked nationwide protests.
The protests have been very similar to the ones following the death of George Floyd in Minneapolis. Many lining the streets calling for change, while others turned to violence to get their messages heard. Though last night's protests in Kenosha were mostly peaceful, the first few nights were not only violent, but also deadly.
Now Arizona is doing its part to help control the growing crowds in Kenosha. Team 12's Trisha Hendricks is live in Phoenix right now, where National Guard troops are set to deploy in just a few hours. Good morning, Trisha.
Governor Doug Ducey tells us Arizona is sending 150 members of the Arizona National Guard to Wisconsin to help after protests erupted following the police shooting of Jacob Blake. Now, Arizona is one of 3 states that is sending Guard units to Wisconsin. We're told they're expected to arrive today. Now, the deployments come after Wisconsin Governor Tony Evers declared a state of emergency and requested assistance. This isn't the first time the Arizona National Guard has been called in to help in a situation like this. Back in May, they responded following protests over the death of George Floyd in Minneapolis. Now, the protests in Wisconsin took a violent turn with groups clashing with police and buildings being set on fire. Then Tuesday night, 2 people were shot and killed. Today, the accused shooter, 17-year-old Kyle Rittenhouse, is set to face a judge. Since then, protests in Wisconsin have mainly remained peaceful. But again, Arizona National Guard troops are heading there today to help keep order amid this latest wave of protest. We'll keep you updated on any developments. For now, we're live in Phoenix. Trisha Hendricks, Today in AZ.